You can spend an entire weekend alone and feel restored, then sit in a full room and feel abandoned. You can crave silence all day, then hear your own thoughts at night and feel hunted by them. Loneliness is a room where your name never echoes back. Most people think loneliness means being by yourself. That's the public definition, neat enough to fit in small talk. But the private version is messier. You can be surrounded by faces and still feel like you're watching life through glass, smiling at the right moments, nodding at the right jokes, laughing at the right timing, then walking to your car with a strange weight in your ribs that has nothing to do with how many people were there. Being alone is a fact. Being lonely is a feeling of exile. Here's how it tends to look in real life. It's a Tuesday evening. Your coat is still on because the house feels colder than it should. The kitchen smells like old coffee trapped in the filter. Your phone screen throws a pale blue rectangle across the table, and you keep checking it even though you know nobody is writing. You're not sad in a dramatic way. You're functional. You did what you had to do. You answered what needed answering. You moved through the day like a person with good posture. Yet the quiet in your home doesn't feel like rest. It feels like you've been left behind by something that kept moving. That's loneliness. Aloneness can be chosen. It can be a clean space. It can be a deep breath. Loneliness rarely feels chosen. It feels like a door closed from the outside, even when you're the one holding the handle. And this is where the topic deserves its name. Loneliness has an architecture. It's built, over years, out of small design decisions that once made sense. The extra hour at work, the habit of not bothering people, the way you learned to be low maintenance, the way you stopped saying what you needed because it never seemed to land well, the way you became the reliable one and then wondered why nobody thought to check on you. A life can be crowded and still be poorly designed for connection. The difference between alone and lonely is not the head count around you. It's whether there is a place in your life where you can arrive as yourself and feel met, without translating, without performing, without shrinking the truth into something more convenient. For people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, loneliness often wears respectable clothes. It looks like competence. It looks like a full schedule. It looks like being fine. You can pay your bills, keep your promises, raise a family, run a team, show up to gatherings, and still carry a private sense that there is no soft surface anywhere. No moment where you can stop performing and still be wanted. So you learn to live in the hallways. That's the concrete metaphor. Loneliness is a long hallway lined with closed doors. You might even be holding a heavy ring of keys: status, humor, generosity, usefulness, charm. But when you try one, it doesn't turn. You try another. It scratches the lock. You laugh it off. You keep walking, acting like you were just passing by anyway. And walking starts to feel like living. At first, you don't call it loneliness. You call it being busy. You call it being private. You call it being good on your own. You call it maturity. You call it not needing much. But your body calls it something else. A tightness after social events. A dull irritability that shows up at home. The urge to cancel plans, then feeling worse when you do. Going to bed early because the evening feels pointless, then lying awake because your mind won't let you pretend. Sometimes it's even stranger than emptiness. It's numbness in the middle of social life. You're at the dinner table, the plates are warm, the room is loud, laughter bursts and falls, and you're smiling while thinking, I could disappear and the conversation would keep going. That thought is sharper than it sounds. There's a psychological theory that explains why this hurts in such a specific way: the belongingness hypothesis. It argues that humans have a basic need to form lasting bonds. Not with everyone, but with a few people where mutual care is real. When that need isn't met, loneliness isn't a personality flaw. It's a signal. A signal can be ignored, but it doesn't disappear. It changes its shape. Some people answer loneliness with noise. They keep the television on, the podcast running, the group chat scrolling, the calendar stuffed, because silence risks revealing the emptiness they've been managing. Others answer it with pride. I don't need anyone. I'm better alone. I'm built for independence. That can be partly true and still not touch the deeper issue. Because loneliness is not just about being independent. It's about being unreachable. Unreachable can happen in two directions. Sometimes you can't reach others. Sometimes others can't reach you. If you've been the steady one for a long time, you may have trained people to interact with your surface. You give updates, not feelings. You offer solutions, not needs. You keep the tone light. You ask questions, but you don't answer them. You become so good at being composed that nobody learns where the door is. Then you wonder why nobody knocks. And it's not because people are heartless. Often, it's because you've made your self-sufficiency look like a rule. You've made your privacy look like comfort. You've made your "I'm good" sound final. So everyone treats it as final. That's the architecture part. Loneliness is rarely one big collapse. It's load-bearing habits. It's the way you learn to be easy to be around. It's the way you took pride in not having needs. It's the way you swallowed the sentence that would have changed the room because you didn't want to make things awkward. You didn't want to be a problem. So, you became a mystery. There's one long study that helps frame what's at stake without turning this into a lecture: the Harvard study of adult development. For decades, researchers followed people across their lives through careers, marriages, wins, losses, aging. The pattern that kept appearing wasn't the happiest people avoided being alone. It was that sustained well-being was tied to the quality of close relationships. Relationships where someone could be seen in their ordinary, unglamorous self and still be cared for. Not admired, not used, not managed. Cared for. Imagine someone in midlife from that study, the type you might recognize. He is competent, maybe even admired. He can make a room feel calm. He can handle conflict at work. He can keep his life running. Yet when he goes home, there's a silence that doesn't feel like peace. It feels like a waiting room. Not because he lacks people, but because he lacks contact that reaches him. The tragedy is how easy it is to mistake this for my personality. It's not a personality, it's a structure. And structures can change, but not through grand declarations. Through redesign, through small, almost unimpressive choices that are brave precisely because they look ordinary. The writer James Baldwin once suggested that love removes masks we think we need to survive. That line matters here because loneliness often isn't the absence of love in your life. It's the presence of masks that keep love from landing. Masks look like competence. They look like jokes. They look like being agreeable. They look like never bringing up what hurts because you don't want to be a problem. They look like "I'm good," said with a practiced smile that makes people move on. Then you go back to the hallway. So, what's the shift? Not a checklist, not a self-improvement project. A new sentence that names the truth without drama. I'm not craving more company. I'm craving to be met. Say it in your head the next time you feel that hollow pressure after a social event. The next time you notice yourself reaching for your phone as if it's a doorway. The next time you're in a room full of people and you can feel yourself fading into the role you always play. That sentence separates quantity from quality. It stops blaming your life for being too empty and starts pointing to the real shortage: contact that touches you. And contact that touches you isn't an abstract idea. It's specific. It looks like one person knowing what your week actually felt like, not just what happened in it. It looks like telling the truth one notch deeper than you normally do and not cleaning it up afterward. Here's a doorway, small enough to try. Pick one person you trust even a little. Not the entire world. Not the perfect person. One. And send a sentence that can be answered. Not, "What's up?" Not a meme. Not an update. A real sentence. Something like, "I've been feeling more alone than I look." Or, "I'm tired in a way sleep doesn't fix." Or, "Can I tell you something real?" Then stop. Let the room respond. Let the other person have a chance to meet you where you are. It will feel exposed. That's the point. Doors are exposed when they're open. And yes, sometimes you'll get a clumsy response. Sometimes you'll get a shallow one. Sometimes you'll realize a certain door really is locked, and that's information too. Good architecture is honest about what holds weight and what doesn't. But if you never try the handle, you'll keep living in the hallway and calling it independence. Being alone can be nourishing when it's a choice and a refuge. Being lonely is when you don't feel held anywhere, even in a crowd, because there's nowhere your real self can arrive and be received. And the architecture of loneliness often has one main feature: no doorway for your real self. You might have people. You might have family. You might have coworkers who like you. You might have friends who would answer if you called. Yet if you never bring the part of you that aches into the room can't respond to it. So the contradiction from the start begins to make sense. You can feel restored alone because solitude can be a clean space where you don't have to perform. And you can feel lonelier in company because being with people can highlight what's missing, not bodies nearby, but being recognized. Loneliness is a room where your name never echoes back. Belonging is a room where it can. Here's the question that changes things. Where in your life do you speak in a way that could be answered?